Welcome back to Canadian Justice, where I'm discussing the current chaos at Canadian airports with MP Melissa Lantsman. Melissa, I wanted to dig into the causes of some of these delays and disruptions. Can you describe what some of those causes are, in particular as it relates to the COVID measures that are still in place in Canada?
For sure. And I'll start by saying we are an outlier, particularly on this one measure, and we've still got domestic travel mandates. So if for whatever reason you chose not to get vaccinated, you actually can't get on an airplane. You can't get on a train. You can't get on a federally regulated piece of infrastructure, although there are some weird anomalies in that when it comes to ferries. But we are
just on that, like I was looking at the document yesterday that shows the exemptions. I think federal inmates being transferred are not required to be vaccinated necessarily in order to board an airplane, which I think might be upsetting for some.
Yeah, I find it completely offensive. We've got people that have, they've missed weddings and they've missed funerals and they haven't seen their families. We treat travel, I think, as a luxury for a lot of us, particularly those who live in Toronto like I do. But for a lot of people, this is a necessity, and we sort of forget that in a country as vast as ours. So we still got mandates. We still got mandates on federally regulated employees. So that's the entire public service, which includes CASA, which you probably now has become part of your lexicon. Those are the security people at the airport for CBSA. So we've got a whole bunch of people that could come back to work, presumably if they're still wanting to do this, that could come back to work. So we're missing people there. We still have about 4,000 tests a day happening at Pearson. That's the random test. There's a little bit of arts and crafts going on at the airport, where you come and you get a sticker and it's either red or green and then you're shifted into these lines. But that all takes manpower and people. And so there are people that are randomly testing still within the airport. And I'll have to say that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why we're doing it, because you get a test in the airport, you're not quarantining, you're going home and you don't know if you have COVID. So I'm not sure exactly what they're doing this, but I think the key here is that we have continued to ask the government for specific health advice that they are getting to justify these measures. And I've asked probably about 30 times in a public forum, and we haven't gotten a single shred of evidence, not from the cabinet minister, not from the prime minister, not from any members who often do their bidding on nightly panels. We haven't gotten a single piece of evidence from any health expert that says these measures are actually keeping us safe, and that's the problem.
So one of the things that stood out to me is obviously the federal minister of transport has been asked about these delays, and one of the causes that he named was rusty travelers, people who forget to remove their laptop from their bag or forget that they're not supposed to bring water, to put their toiletries in a clear bag. So he's given that as an explanation. How accurate is that as a contributing factor to these delays?
So here's the rule as a politician. When you've abdicated your responsibility to make sure that our airports are working, you probably shouldn't blame the constituent, the voter, the traveler for I think, your incompetence. And I think that's exactly what we saw. And we saw it sort of across the board, where we had the parliamentary secretary, the person that sort of does the minister's bidding in Parliament when he doesn't want to, or when he can't, I should say. And they were blaming the industry for these delays. These are problems at security. They're problems at CBSA. They're problems that are the legacy health restrictions are causing, and they're certainly not the traveler. I have to say, the Pearson problem is not Pearson. It is not the workers there. It is not the staff people. It is not air traffic control. It's not the baggage handlers. It is the federal government who needs to make this place work, that has abdicated their responsibility to do so.
So I've noticed a shift from industry, who for a long time, supported a lot of the measures that were in place. A lot of Canadians supported it. But recently we've seen sort of a shift from industry saying that they too want to see things sort of go back to normal. So what can you tell us about what industry in the airline industry, airports, the travel industry in general is saying about ending these restrictions? We've got about a minute.
Yeah, look, I think they've seen the writing on the wall for the rest of the world, and they've seen the rest of the world and provinces and places within our own within our own daily lives. You can go to a baseball game, you can go to the playoffs in a hockey game if you're lucky to live in a city where they're actually in the playoffs. And you don't need to be vaccinated. So this is sort of the last bastion of grasping to, I think, what is ideological, what is a bit vindictive, what is punishing to domestic travelers, and they've finally had enough.
Right.
This industry has been attacked, so I think they're I think they're finally speaking up.
We've got to go to commercial break, but we will continue this conversation after.